I see a sentiment in the Zelda community every once in a while, this idea that you can plop Hyrule Warriors at the ambiguous end of the timeline in a kind of misguided attempt to quote-unquote fix it. Basically, since Breath of the Wild has references from all over the timeline, and officially speaking, Nintendo placed it so far in the future that it doesn't really matter, people get things kind of misconstrued and say either it takes place in all timelines, or all the timelines happen in Breath of the Wild.
Which isn't how time works, to my knowledge.
Point being, in an attempt to remedy this, people have made theories saying that Hyrule Warriors should be canonized, and set in kind of like a new combined timeline at the end of everything but before Breath of the Wild. And I hate to rain on your parade, guys, but this is effectively impossible. First things first, Hyrule Warriors isn't set in some random period ambiguously in the future. Within its own lore, it actually does have a solid timeline placement, and it's actually pretty consistent, if by consistent you mean riddled with continuity errors. Put a pin in that, we'll wrap back to it later. Before we begin, Hyrule Warriors has effectively 4 campaigns, each spawning off of different paths in hero mode. We're gonna start with the primary campaign, wrap back around to Sia's and Linkle's campaigns, and finish off with the Wind Waker campaign. Yes, the full 3 missions dedicated to the Wind Waker, put a pin in that too. Also, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to deem the additional DLC characters as non-canon. I could probably do double reach-around takes for how Toon Link or Tinkle are here, but I fucking defy you to give me a scenario where Marin makes sense as a playable character. She didn't even die! She was never real! And when she became real, she turned into a fucking seagull! To start, the beginning of the game specifically mentions at multiple points that the rifts created by Sia, the Guardian of Time, only bring about cracks in time specifically. This might be kind of new to those who loathe the Zelda timeline oh so much, but the Zelda timeline, from the perspective of the characters in it, isn't really so much of a historical series of events, and is more like a map of 3 different universes that kind of all connect to one point. Think about this. From the perspective of a character in A Link Between Worlds, the hero of time always died to Ganon. It's not an if or a but, he just did. Similar thing with the Wind Waker. The hero of time always just disappeared. Same thing applies here. Those cracks in time open into 3 different quote-unquote eras in history. The first one is the easiest to explain. It's the era of Skyloft from Skyward Sword, which happens in pretty much all timelines anyway. The era of Myth from Ocarina of Time, which does kinda, sorta happen in all timelines, but put a pin in that as well. The third crack is the most damning, the era of Twilight, featuring characters and locations from Twilight Princess, including Agatha, Midna, Zant, and the Twilight Realm. Twilight Princess takes place directly after Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time within the Child timeline, where Link is sent back to the time of being a child and sent off to die in a war or something. He's still active for at least a few years. We kind of know what happens to him, but whatever. Hell, unlike a lot of other games in the timeline, Twilight Princess literally can't take place anywhere else. The game is huffing Ocarina of Time like it's gonna give it the high of its life, up to and including the literal hero of time as a previous hero that lingers and trains the hero of Twilight in sword skills. That's not the only evidence for this either. The Temple of Souls, an original location to Hyrule Warriors, is dedicated to previous heroes in the timeline from Hyrule Warriors, and features 3 links. The Hero of Skies, the child hero of time, which does actually make sense. They would only know Link as the hero whenever he was a child, and the hero of Twilight as Wolf Link. Neat. Glad that's settled. Oh, right. So each era pulls 2 locations and at least 2 characters from their respective games. We have Fi and Girhim from Skyward Sword, who studied the blade, and Midna, Zant, and Agatha from Twilight Princess because they really like Twilight Princess, I guess. Both Ocarina because of the nature of the story. In order to get anyone good at all, you have to pull from the adult era of the game, with Ruto and Darunia. And doesn't that constitute a continuity error? I mean, they're both referred to specifically as sages, and we never see them as sages in anywhere other than the adult timeline. But honestly, I really don't think it's that big of an issue. I mean, those 7 years still had to pass eventually. It's not like Darunia or Ruto would leave from their positions of power. Hell, we even see this little bundle of sages in Twilight Princess, leaving it absolutely possible that Darunia and Ruto are in this group of little guys. This could be the same 7 sages from Ocarina. Ooh, it's the water sage that Ganondorf kills, though. Damn. Rip Ruto. Hell, the gang even find the Lens of Truth in the Water Temple, which Ruto claims was left there by a previous hero, which is exactly in line with what happens with the Hero's Bow in TP anyway. That's just kind of a thing the Hero of Time does, I guess. So, definitively, if it was canon, Hyrule Warriors would take place in the Child timeline. Sometime after Twilight Princess, and guess we can say charitable and say it takes place after Four Swords Adventures, but actually no, we're not going to say that. Fuck you. So far it seems like the slot's in perfect, honestly. Here we go. Each era is fucking riddled with continuity errors. I mean, they're everywhere. It's awful. Okay, let's start charitable. How's that sound? We'll start with the least problematic and work our way up. And no, Groose, get down from there! Ocarina of Time is the most iconic and honestly probably the hardest to fuck up. The only thing here other than what I just spent 292 words resolving is the Lens of Truth hitting Puppet Zelda with the power of Christ! Begone, demon! Skyward Sword was the most recent Zelda game at the time, so I guess it was just fresh in the developers' minds when they made it, but that didn't stop them! Fi is still stuck in the Goddess Sword Festival, which, you know, she is still a Goddess Sword, on the still intact statue in Skyloft, placing the events from her perspective pretty firmly before Skyward Sword, yet she not only mentions the Hero of Sky directly in a mission on the surface, she directly mentions the fucking Grucinator that's laying on the ground. Also, that shit ain't the Grucinator, the Grucinating was on a track, you sick fucks! This thing is on wheels! There's some minor shit like the imprisoned being too small or the lumpy pumpkin being crashed in the half-destroyed Skyloft, but I'll fucking do you one better. How is Girahim here? On Skyloft, there's a fucking cloud barrier separating Skyloft from the surface. Or, and I guess more pertinently, where is the cloud barrier? The cloud barrier lasts until Tears of the Kingdom at a minimum. It's how not only Skyloft stays out of sight, but even places like the Temple of Winds or the City in the Sky. The fucking Zonai apparently even commandeer it before Tears of the Kingdom, so how the fuck is Skyloft even accessible to our crew? You might be able to say that the locations aren't accurate to where they are in their own time, considering Death Mountain sure as shit isn't there before the Rapture comes, but I'm gonna note that as less of a lore point and more to the fact that this version of Hyrule is fucking boring! This is the most fucking generic medieval Hyrule has ever looked, nary an interesting sight to be seen anywhere on this fucking green field of a map. All the cool shit that shows up are just directly references to another Zelda game. The Shongo Gym of the Lost Woods is neat, but it doesn't make a lick of sense. Gerudo Desert is basically just a third fucking Twilight Princess level, because fuck you, that's why! Speaking of Twilight Princess, apparently the devs love this game, considering there's a grand total of 4 playable characters from it, and the fact that the characters' designs for the Reincarnation Squad are clearly based on the ones from Twilight Princess, and the fact that the maps are easily the most accurate to the source material out of any of the other maps, but you couldn't fucking tell because the lore here was decimated! Starting off, Minna exists in the light world perfectly fine. Now, she can do that in the main game after a certain point, but considering the fact that Zant's somehow not fucking dead, this has to take place before Twilight Princess, except no, the Twilight is covering the land, which means it has to take place during Twilight Princess, except no, Minna specifically mentions that Sia apparently cursed her again, but no, wait, Minna doesn't know who Agatha is, despite it literally saying Agatha helped Link in her bio. But yes, again, Minna is open about being the Twilight Princess. But wait, there's more. Minna's really cool about fighting and killing Hylians. But gasp, could it be Minna has the entire fucking fused shadow? How? And the Twilight, don't even get me fucking started on the Twilight. So in Twilight Princess, the Twilight is brought upon by Zant using, like, dark fog or some shit to literally blot out the light spirits on Hyrule. When inside the Twilight, people born of the light literally become nothing but spirits, at least until the light comes back, you know, whatever. Unless you have a piece of the Triforce, in which case you stay normal because it staves off the Twilight, except for Link because he's a furry! Here's a screenshot from Hyrule Warriors. That right there is a curtain of Twilight, which signifies an area covered in Twilight. Yep. That there is a bunch of living Hylians and normal-looking monsters. Hey, that's not it. You want to see something cool? You want to see something cool? Do you see a light spirit there? I don't see nothing. Oh, you think that's not enough? You think, oh, all right, okay, all right. Let's hop over to the Twilight Realm. No explanation on how the fuck we got there. The hows or whys don't matter. It doesn't matter that this is literally a fucking alternate dimension, only accessible from one singular mirror that is either A, broken, or B, shattered. It's open literally long enough for this place to be a dungeon, and then Midna breaks it. And the location it's in couldn't possibly be dragged through time, because again, this is an alternate dimension. But fucking fine. Whatever. Fine! We get here somehow. Fine! I want you to watch this cutscene in full. Okay, so they're fighting Argarok, that dragon thing, and he's from Twilight Princess. You know, fun boss from a fun dungeon. And the Great Fairy, no, not the actual one from Twilight Princess, of course not. Oh, and it's in the Twilight Realm somehow. You know, sure, you know, whatever. Uses magic to summon chains, and using these chains, it reaches into the heavens of the Twilight Realm and pulls the moon from Majora's Mask out of the sky. We're clear on that? Yeah? Sure? Okay, cool. What?! How is that here? Why is that here? That's not just something you can just fucking do, except apparently it is, because it fucking happens when you upgrade the claw shot in the game proper. So I want you to tell me how the fuck you're able to justify this, because seriously, what? There's some other weird shit from the rest of the campaign onward, but honestly most of it is just because the game it is being fucking weird to justify having Ganon be the final boss, which, you know, he should be. It's a Zelda game. It's celebrating the history. It's, you know, whatever. Ganon is alive for one, but his spirit's been sealed, like, throughout 4 different periods in time. I don't know how the fuck they did that, honestly. Like, I don't fucking, you know what, it doesn't even fucking matter in the other games anyway. So like this could be a version of Ganon whose spirit had it sealed. Oh, but where'd the new Ganon come from? But that doesn't fucking matter anyway, right? Tears of the Kingdom, right? So Ganon, he can also inexplicably pull people through time. He has to do like a ritual to use the full might of the Triforce, despite that literally never being a problem before for some reason. For some reason, Lana like bubbles the Triforce of power to use it instead of just wielding it directly. That's not a unique thing to the Triforce gang. All of them, any human can wield a piece of the Triforce. That's not, you know, whatever. As far as timeline contradictions go, there's just not much left in the main campaign. And I'm not just saying this to save myself time, but I really don't think it's worth it to go over Sia's campaign in full. For the most part, it really just contradicts Hyrule Warriors, which is funny, but it's not why we're here. I am, however, going to be mad at the fucking mini imprisons, because literally that's not how that works. The imprisoned is Demise, and there's only one of him. And it also being able to hang out on fucking Skyloft? Huh? The third campaign is Linkle's, following her journey on the quest to Hyrule Castle to do something. She's delusional, she thinks she's the hero, it's really funny. She's really bad at directions though, which naturally lands her in the Lost Woods, where she's cornered by Skull Kid wielding Majora's Mask, who steals her— Skull Kid wearing Majora's Mask?! What? Oh, okay, this isn't even an arm. Actually, in the Twilight, what the fuck are you doing here? Majora's Mask by this point in the timeline has long since run out of juice. The demon inside it is literally dead and has been for centuries. Even the fucking time travel bullshit hasn't happened yet. I know this was a 3DS bonus and you really wanted the new characters there, but Skull Kid? Really? Fucking put Tingle in there or something. I don't fucking care. After Linkle beats Skull Kid wielding Majora's Mask in a fight, she somehow fucking just stumbles her way into the Twilight Realm. How'd she get there? I don't fucking know. Same way Wolf Link ended up in Breath of the Wild, I guess. There, Midna finds a shadow crystal. For reference, the Shadow Crystal is from Twilight Princess. It's what allows Link to transform back into his wolf form without having to pass through a Twilight Curtain, or being in the Twilight Realm. It's essentially concentrated Twilight. So when Midna, a being of Twilight, touches it, it doesn't do anything. That's why she holds it in the game, so Link doesn't constantly like bump into it and just turn back into his wolf form. Except in this fucking game, apparently, where it transforms her back into woman! Honestly, it's not that crazy, I guess. Midna was initially cursed by Twilight magic used by Zant, so in TP, adding more Twilight magic wouldn't really do much. But since she was cursed by Sia, maybe more Twilight magic could force her into keeping her normal form, because Sia used dark magic? It's not that far-fetched, I guess, but whatever. I'm more perplexed in how the fuck she spawns the Mirror of Twilight and uses it as a weapon? What? Girl, put that down! She destroys the crystal, by the way. Ugh, what's the Linkle campaign? Jesus Christ. Oh, right, the last pin. Wind Waker. In this final campaign, Lana and Sia are attacked by Wind Waker's Phantom Ganon, somehow, who steals their time bullshit and the Triforce of Power to do something. It's not very clear what, or how, or why. Either way, he does that and ends up creating Wind Waker's Great Sea into Hyrule Warriors. However, it's only referenced as a rift between eras by Impa, who's hot off the tail the last thing that looked like this. Also, fuck you, Impa, and Zelda, for just sitting on your ass and sending Link to just, like, go deal with it. Fuck you, dude! Y'all have been on the front lines this entire time. Whatever. But Impa's hot off the heels of the last thing that looked like this and is literally just wrong. The narration exclusively and repeatedly refers it as a different dimension and another world, which means we've hopped from time travel to multiverse travel, baby! Which is how this works, so that works out. That also pretty cleanly explains why everyone still looks kind of toon, in spite of Hyrule Warriors making a pretty active effort to make everyone look harmonious, even when these games have pretty different art styles. The Toon Gang just kind of looks like that because their universe is weird. It's kind of fun. However, I will mention that this campaign is fucking absurd. From Phantom Ganon's zero motivation or means to do what the fuck he does, to Sia literally dying without magic, to King Daphne's No Handsome Hyrule coming down from the heavens just to help. Hello? It literally says, as they pondered what to do, King Daphne's No Handsome Hyrule shows up by divine command. Like, holy fuck, that's so funny. What were the golden goddesses in Zelda just chilling up there doing, you know, whatever the fuck, and see what bullshit was going down and go,
oh shit, someone should go get help. Daphne's, you do it.
really funny. There's not even any real continuity snarls besides like the monsters already being dead, I guess. Tetra and Daphne's don't interact at all despite knowing each other. That's kinda it. But like all the other shit, especially the Twilight shit, oof, this game wasn't really designed to be canon. There's too many snarls, too many leaps in logic, too many instances that make you just like squint in your eyes and go, seriously? At least whenever you treat this as a game that's supposed to be consistent with the others. From the beginning, this game was designed with love and reverence for the series, but with the perspective that it's meant to be a celebration of Zelda in all of its history. In the story mode, you play in the maps of 3 of the most notable games in the franchise, with unique mechanics that make it feel authentic without being beholden to the lore in order to make the game more fun, to readapt these things to a different gameplay style. Heck, that's why the Legend of Zelda map was put in just as a fun bonus thing with no story to tie it together. That's kind of what the first Zelda game felt like, even if it evolved into what it is today. There's actually no other direct references to Fallen Hero in the game, so... Whoops. I guess there's the DLC stuff, but yeah. Link, Zelda, Ganondorf, and Impa have costumes from most of their major appearances in the franchise, and all the characters have mask outfits that are reflective of their character in some way. Recolors that make them look like other characters just to show off how far the series has come and, celebrate that. And if you don't think I'm not gonna do a costume ranking video after this, you're fucking crazy. If Hyrule Warriors was canon, it would take place in a spot that might deserve it, and it might solve some problems, but it leaves others unresolved and brings up about 4 million new ones. Ultimately, it's probably best to leave it in the realm of non-canon, where these things can't hurt the integrity of the franchise, like Tears of the Kingdom does. So, just remember, think through your theories, don't always listen to game theory, and if you really want Hyrule Warriors to be canon in order to fix Breath of the Wild, what you're really saying is you want Breath of the Wild to be in the child timeline. Which is already where it is.
Hey, I just wanted to come in after the credits and say, if you want Hyrule Warriors to be canon, or if you like headcanon it as canon, that's chill. I know I got kind of loud in the video, you could say, but I respect everyone's headcanon, and like if it could be, I would want Hyrule Warriors to be canon too, I think it has a lot of like cool potential with that. I think there's a lot of stuff you could do there. But it's just like it officially being made canon and like people requesting that's kind of what the thing was with me. That was the sticking point. It's like, no, there's reasons why it can't be officially canon. It's not like Nintendo just didn't want to make it canon. Like there's purpose behind it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you would like to, please like or comment. It would help us out a lot. My mic cut off. And if you want to, memberships are open. No pressure or anything. If you don't want to, but like they are open, and they're only a couple bucks a month, and if you want to help us out, that'd be the #1 way to do it. Yeah. Have a good one.